Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. One of the important events that happened in the life of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his last days before he passed away is his efforts to dispatch the army of Usama, Usama ibn Zaid ibn Haritha, who was a 17-year-old young man, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam appointed him as a commander of an army in which all senior Sahaba were included, including Abu Bakr and Omar. And how is it important? This is important, very critical, very important, vital to understand this in several ways. Number one, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam appoints Usama as leader and the two, Abu Bakr and Omar, as his soldiers, not his deputies, no, his regular private soldiers. In America, they call them private soldier, the basic soldier, private soldier, regular privates, regular soldiers, regular soldier. So they were regular soldiers. And then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was criticized that why he made this choice. There were all these other senior Sahaba, men with more experience, men who were from al-Muhajirun al-Awwalun, who were from the very first wave of immigrants from Mecca, who are present, men who are known for greater qualifications than Usama, who are present. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has preferred Usama, 17-year-old young man, who Usama himself, of course, is not extraordinary in any ways. If you look at the history of Islam, Usama is an ordinary person. He's not known for great bravery, no. Is he a great military genius? No. Bravery? No. Military genius? No. Tactician? No. Great Hafiz of Quran? No. Known for his fiqh and tafsir? Tafsir? No. Nothing that sets him apart and higher than other Sahaba. Nothing. And yet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam appoints him. And then he's criticized. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam insists. He says, he is my choice. Insists, he is my choice. Usama is my choice. And if you are complaining about his appointment as commander, when I appointed his father, Zayd ibn Haritha, radiyallahu an, you complained back then also. One more thing, Zayd was a slave, was an ex-slave. So, and you know that freed slaves are not at the top of the society. So they are not from the nobility of either Mecca or Medina. Ex-slave is an ex-slave. And Usama himself was the son of an ex-slave. Son of an ex-slave. There's nothing wrong to be an ex-slave. I'm not criticizing that. However, in the Arabic environment that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived, there were noble people. They were noble. They were chiefs and prominent families. And then they were regular people, and then they were slaves. So the slaves are the lowest of the low. in the social strata, in the social class system, is the most perfect leader, the wisest head of a society. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He does everything per command of Allah. Allah, إِنْ أَتَّبِعُ إِلَّا مَا يُوحَىٰ إِلَيْهِ. He doesn't do anything except it's commanded by Allah Ta'ala. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the wisest, intelligent, and most efficient administrator of a society. And he knows his troops, he knows his followers, he knows who is most qualified to be a leader and who is the proper person to lead them. So it follows, if the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam chose Usama over Abu Bakr and Omar, obviously it means that Usama is more qualified in the eyes of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam than Abu Bakr and Omar. That's pretty obvious, especially when he was criticized that why you're doing this. He came and made a speech that he said that this is my choice and you have to listen to him and you have to obey him and you have to go on this excursion. That's important to say because a number of Umaris, they say, as I mentioned before in my speeches, that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam can make mistakes. And errors. And even he can commit minor sins. And he can commit even major sins, but unintentionally. Unintentionally. But he does not perpetuate. He does not continue doing it. So even if we accept that point of view, even we accept that premise that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam can make mistakes, however he does not perpetuate, he was reminded that Usama is not a proper choice. He insisted that he is the proper choice. He insisted, even when he was reminded, that Osamah ibn Zaid is his choice for commander. And who is included in the army? Abu Bakr and Omar. So, it's obvious. Now, remember this on the one hand. On the other hand, if you have a person who's not qualified to do a job, a person who is qualified to do a job, not qualified and qualified, and then a person who is more qualified. So obviously, Abu Bakr, even if we agree he was qualified, Abu Bakr was qualified to, or Umar were qualified to lead the army, even if we agree that he was qualified, he was not one of them, although that's the proper case, he was less qualified. That's obvious. He is less qualified than Usama, because it would not make sense for a wise person like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the wisest man ever, the best administrator, best leader, best administrator of society, best leader, most intelligent, best leader. So, if not to promote a less qualified, if Usama is less qualified, to promote a less qualified over more qualified, who is Abu Bakr and Omar, would be corruption, would be an act of abuse, would be an unfair act, and it would be wrong. And anybody would agree to that. If you go to a hospital and there is an important surgery to be done, an eye surgery, right? And you have all these doctors and all these surgeons. One surgeon is qualified, And the other surgeon, there's another surgeon, surgeon number two is more qualified. He has done more surgeries, he has more experience, he has led, he knows more, basically. He has more experience. So who would you promote? Who is going to do the eye surgery? If it's an important eye surgery and you promote this person for this and leave this person aside, people will say you have made the wrong choice. You should take the more qualified one. So Usama, who is not prominent in any ways amongst the Muslims. Usama is 17. Usama is only 17. He is neither a military genius, never became a military genius, never. Even when he was 40, 50, never. Nothing was seen from him that proved that he was a military genius, or that he's a great scholar, or his piety, that his fear of Allah, or his trustworthiness is any above ordinary. No. In every way, he was ordinary or below ordinary. So, if this person is more qualified for leadership than Abu Bakr and Omar, per the appointment of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who does not do these things without properly thinking or without wahi from Allah. قُلْ مَا أَتَّبِعُ إِلَّا مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ إِنْ أَتَّبِعُ إِلَّا مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ. I do not follow anything except the wahi of Allah. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not speak of his whim, except that it is, when he speaks, it is from Allah. So, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly states that who is more qualified? Usama. So if Usama is more qualified, who is nothing prominent, Abu Bakr, and that's for an excursion of a few weeks, not for something major. Definitely Abu Bakr and Omar have no qualifications to lead the Muslim Ummah after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. After Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is very clear. And this is quite obvious. Inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, in the coming lectures, I'll speak more about this matter, that why the leadership of less qualified is void and wrong in the presence of more qualified. There's no comparison between less qualified and more qualified. More qualified is always. But that's another thing. What is qualification? But if a person is more qualified, obviously he is preferred. There's no choice to be made there. He is the choice, the more qualified. So we'll talk about this more. The other point that I have to talk about that is, inshallah, in the coming lectures will come on the question of the excursion of Usama, is the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was aware of his coming death. When did they? Now, please pay attention to the time frame. Usama's excursion is ordered to dispatch when? In Safar, in the month of Safar of 11 of Hijrah. 11 after Hijrah. Safar of 11 Hijrah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passes away, according to the Umaris, on 12 of Rabiul Awwal. Most narrations indicate that it was 26th of Safar, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered them to leave. So 2 weeks before his demise, he decided that they have to leave. This excursion has to go. The excursion of Usama, that includes Abu Bakr and Omar. The important thing is, at that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was already sick. When he ordered that they should leave. Already sick. And he told his daughter, Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, that he will pass away, of his imminent death, in this sickness, in this very sickness. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So he told his daughter that he will pass away in this sickness, in this malady. He will not survive it. He will die. And he told her this is a secret. And she did not tell anybody until after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. So pay attention to all these because they're important. Okay, you got this? So, and he insists, the other thing is he insists that this excursion must go. Excursion must leave Medina immediately. Time and again repeats, insists, excursion must leave Medina. This excursion must leave Medina immediately. Number 4, pay attention. All these are very important. There is no emergency. Military emergency. At the Roman frontier. There's no reason to this army should go, and they should go now. Every ghazwa, every sariyah, every battle the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam participated, every army he dispatched to fight a battle had reasons. There was somebody was killed, or the enemy was making a move, they were going to attack, so they had to be prevented, their attack had to be prevented, or there were tribes who had killed Muslims and they were pestering Muslims, they had to be put in their place. There's always a reason for the excursions of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his army. It was not without a reason. And now the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows he's sick already. Pay attention. This is key. This solves for you the question of imamah. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sick, and he knows he's going to die in the sickness. And there's nothing going on in the Roman frontier. Nothing. There is no tribe that has moved against the Muslims. There is nothing. No Muslim merchant has been killed there. The Roman Caesar, he has not sent an army to invade Muslim lands. There's no threat. There's no military movement by the Romans there. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gathers all these Sahaba, thousands of them, asks them to go, leave, and he is sick himself. What is the reason? Consider that Musaylama al-Kadhab and Aswad al-Anasi, they both, who claimed that we are prophets, they had made a number of people already murtad. Apostasy had already begun in Arabia. So if anything, there's a clear danger from these apostates against Medina. If any raid should be made, if any military excursion has to be made, it should be made against them. Because these people have already claimed prophethood, and some people are changing their religion. They're becoming non-Muslims. They've started following them. So why the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is doing this? What's the reason? And especially considering that he has included Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is included in the army, and Omar too, and Omar also, if they leave, Omar and Abu Bakr leave, and the army goes, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, Medina, there will be a bay'ah, and of course it's made sure, it's assured that Abu Bakr and Omar will play no role in the appointment of new caliph, because they'll be gone. They will be soldiers, they will be regulars, they will be guardsmen for Usama at the time. Very unpleasant probably for them. And they come back to Medina and there's a new caliph there. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very wise. He knows what he's doing. So, if there is no military emergency, and not even emergency, nothing, absolutely nothing going at the Roman border, when Osama went to the Roman frontier, before he went, and this is after the demise of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr told him, when you go there, cut arms, legs, and cut people in half. From the waist down, cut them in half. And why? In order to create terror. Exactly, those are exact words. So we know who's the first terrorist. In order to terrorize the enemy. And Osama exactly did that. Osama did that. He came back. When the Caesar heard that this has been done by Muslims at the frontier and his frontiers, Caesar then, forgive my spelling. Caesar then dispatched in his troops as frontier guardmen, to go to Bulqa, which is it used to be part of the Eastern Roman Empire. Right now, I think it's part of Jordan. To stay there. And after Muslims came and raided those territories and terrorized the local population per command of Abu Bakr, only then, the Caesar, he appointed frontier guardsmen to protect the local population against the Muslims. And they remained there until Abu Bakr and Omar sent another army and defeated them. And then they, of course, by the time Abu Bakr was dying, the Muslims had already surrounded Damascus. They were going to capture Damascus, and Damascus was captured in the first months of Khilafah of Omar. So, the important thing is there was no military movement, there was no military threat. There would seem no reason why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would send his troops, and this big body of troops, thousands, 7,000 or 3,000 has been mentioned, the number of troops in the army of Osama, to the Roman frontier. So what is it? Of course, the reason is very clear. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows he's dying. He knows that Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam has to be his heir after him. He has to be caliph after him. And he is sending everybody who might be contender of Khilafah, who might be a rival of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam in Khilafah, and all their supporters, anybody who may defy bay'ah of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, he's sending all of them outside Medina on a very long trip. So they are not in Medina when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, and when they come back, bay'ah has already been done. Pledge of allegiance has already been made to Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, and his government is strong, and they cannot do anything but do bay'ah. When the troops come back, they can't do anything but do bay'ah. This is very obvious. The other matter that follows this discussion is Abu Bakr, by Sahih ahadith, unquestionably Sahih ahadith, which I will show you, was in the Jaysh of Usama, was in the troops of Usama, part of Usama. Usama camped at Jaraf. which is outside Medina. It's been said that it's 1 farsakh, 4.5 kilometers, which would be about 3 miles. And it's been said that 4 farsakh, which would be equal to about 4 farsakh would be about 20 miles, over 20 miles from Medina. So Abu Bakr was there. He was ordered, and that's where Usama's camp was. So for Aisha to say, Aisha's assertion that somebody came and said, oh, it's time of Salah, please lead us in prayers. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, oh, send Abu Bakr. That's 20 miles or 3 miles. Try to walk 3 miles. It takes 1 hour to go. At least 1 hour if you walk fast. And another hour to come. So if it's that's if you find Abu Bakr. If you're lucky and you find him right away and he doesn't have anything to do and he comes back. So that will be way past the Salah time. If it's Salat al-Fajr, if it's Salat al-Dhuhr, Salat al-Asr, the time will be gone and people would not wait that long. And it's just wrong to make people that wait that long. So the assertion of Aisha that somebody came, it's time of Salah, oh, send Abu Bakr. No, please don't send him. He's going to cry. He is such a tender heart. No, you're the woman of Egypt. Send Abu Bakr. That is wrong. And Aisha is a self-proclaimed liar. That cannot happen. Because that cannot happen. The only way it could happen is if Aisha sent for Abu Bakr beforehand, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is dying, you must come and lead prayers. And Aisha did on her own. And that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you are like the woman of Egypt, because they were conspiring. They were conspiring and they were conniving against a Nabi. And Aisha is doing the same. Otherwise, to say Aisha is like a mushrik woman, like the mushrik woman of Egypt, who are conspiring against the Nabi, that would not make sense. The other ta'an that's proved from this discussion, the other ta'an, a deficiency. Deficiency in the character of Abu Bakr and Omar. Deficiency in character. It's proof for Abu Bakr and Omar is that they did not go. One deficiency is what? Number 1, Usama is their leader. If they are nobody compared to Usama, they are definitely nobody compared to Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Anta minni bimanzilati Harun min Musa. He is to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam like Harun was to Musa. That's number 1. Number 2, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made efforts that Abu Bakr never becomes Khalifa. By making him the soldier of Usama and asking Usama to leave immediately. And he knows he's dying, and when this army is gone, Abu Bakr will not become Khalifa. Number 3. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salah of Abu Bakr is a lie. Is a lie, because that could not happen. Because the camp was so far. The camp was very far. The camp, Usama, when he was ordered to go, and all the Sahaba went with him, they camped outside Medina in Jarf, and that is at least a few miles from Medina. So for him to be called conveniently to lead prayers, that's not doable. That's a lie. That was number 4. Number 5, I forgot. Next, Abu Bakr and Omar never went. The Jaysh never went. The army, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked them to go, immediately go, did not go. They said, oh, you're sick. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, go. He would continually say, send the Jaysh of Usama. Jaysh of Usama must be dispatched. They did not go until he passed away. So because they knew something is going on. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going to die. And if they leave, they will not become Khalifa. That is why they didn't go. Abu Bakr and Omar didn't go in the lifetime of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Army did not go. So all of these Sahaba, they defied the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Some of them did not know better. And some of them were tricked. Yeah, some of them were tricked, did not know better. But there was people who knew, who were part of the conspiracy. But anyways, they were all sinful. And especially, but after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, the army left. But that time, the purpose was dead. The purpose of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they should not be in Medina at the time of his demise, that purpose was already defeated by Sahaba's defiance. Army left, but still Abu Bakr and Umar did not leave. Although they were made soldiers of Usama, they did not leave. So they until their death, they defied the command of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They did not attend the army of Usama. These are the tu'un of Usama, of the Abu Bakr and Umar, deficiencies in their character that very clearly make them unqualified for leadership, and clearly indicate the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not happy with their imamah, with their leadership. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.